Welcome to my show, Reading the Room with ReallyRob. You know, further known as Roberto Rotana Casangua Rodriguez. Before you ask me what my last name is, it's a Thai last name. Most people ask me that question, so let me just put it out there. It is Thai, and I might literally be the only one left that's alive with the last name. So it's pretty cool. So this is why I started talking about politics. This is gonna be my first video. It's gonna be a little short video. Eventually we'll get to long format. Right now we're gonna stay with shorts, introduce myself to people and stuff. But why politics interests me? Because I like to know the truth. And you know what I realized, watching all this stuff, listening to different people, PBD, Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon, Candace Owens, Dave Smith. I watched all their content basically every single day. So yeah, I want to get to the truth, and I'm not gonna sit in here telling you I know everything. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to learn patterns, recognize certain things, recognize the system, how it works. I'm understanding. But what I learned about reason I want to talk about politics, because as humans we can't ignore politics. Politics, at the end of the day, what do we call it? Influences your life whether you like it or not. So at the end of the day, we might as well jump into it and be into politics, because at the end of the day it messes with our money, it messes with our gas prices, it messes with our food prices, it messes with everything, right? So that's another thing. Why I question narratives. For example, I question narratives because I'm very good at recognizing human behavior and patterns and what people are doing it for, So I'll get more into that later on in different episodes, but I would say, yeah, I'm good at noticing patterns, like very good. And you'll figure it out later on while we move forward in this podcast. And another thing is, I don't pick sides. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a freaking Republican. I'm not a liberal. I'm for good ideas. I'm for good ideas. That's it. Good ideas always win. Like I'm not into this tribal stuff, and oh, you better be on my side. Like, bro, I'm for good ideas. If you have a bad idea, I'm not going with it. Just that simple. I'm for good ideas, not teams. And then yeah, that's what our podcast is going to be about. A bunch of things. I'm going to try to keep up to date with like the news and give you guys updates and see what's really going on. I'm going to try to figure out how to do the research part, get everything funded, and like all this stuff, you know what I mean? But truthfully, this is going to be my honest opinions. It's, these are just opinions. At the end of the day, I'm giving my commentary. That's all it is, right? These are my opinions. You could be mad, you could like me, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to give my honest opinion, and we're going to move to follow the truth. We are here on this podcast to learn the truth, recognize patterns, to see certain things, see how people move, why they said that, why they did this. That's what the podcast is all going to be about. So yeah, that's just a little introduction about myself. I'm part Thai, part Mexican, part Honduran. Yeah, so eventually later on in the future, we're going to get into more details. I'll be trying to post every day, at least a short or something like a shorter video, So yeah, we'll eventually get into it. But for example, the war with Iran, the Charlie Kirk stuff, theories, and we'll jump around a lot too. It's not going to be always politics. Maybe we'll have like a little bit downtime where we just enjoy, like bring up some conspiracy theory that just doesn't have nothing to do with politics. But majority of the time it'll be politics set. At least this podcast, I might make another one. We'll see. But yeah. That's basically the breakdown of who I am and why I'm doing this, because I just want to get closer to the truth, and hopefully my fans, or when I get fans, will want to get more to the truth. We're not here to guess. We're here to get to the truth, right? That's all it is. So we don't ever say 100% certainty unless we know it's 100% certainty here. In my podcast, I will never say I'm 100% certain unless I am. If I'll even give you 99% to 1% if I'm not 100% certain. You know what I mean? That's just personally me. I don't ever say nothing's 100% unless I know for a fact. So I'm just trying to gain trust with you guys. So I'm just gonna give you my authentic opinion. There'll no bias. I don't care who. If I ever like later on, you can start getting paid and stuff. I don't care. I'm gonna give my honest opinion and genuine opinion. So you can always trust me in that fact. Promise you. I'm not these type of people like that are just because you paid me I'm gonna say something different. I'm not that person. Or just because someone told me something I'm gonna just agree with them. I'm not the type of person. But yeah, so that's just the introduction to the podcast. Eventually we'll make longer forward content, but right now we're just gonna build our audience with short content, and then we'll get into all the extra stuff eventually. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this one. Thank you for joining me at Reading the Room with ReallyRob. Have a great day.